Welcome to the first week of the Motus Pull-Up program, where we teach the most fundamental, but also the most essential training principles, all in the context of getting your first unassisted pull-up. So first week, our weekly focus will be the arch and the hollow. So these are the most fundamental, most basic shapes of all your gymnastics movements. You're either in arch or you're in a hollow. So these two shapes both need to be mastered on the floor. You need to know where your body is on the floor before you can do it on the bar. So much so even when I was competing at a national level of gymnastics, I was training probably 45 minutes a day on these two positions alone. Just these two positions was 45 minutes dedicated each day. It is not just about strength, but body awareness. Because when you are on the bar, the only reference that you have is your hands. So knowing where your body is in space, knowing when you should be in the arch, when you should be in the hollow, and knowing how those two shapes feel in the air or on the bar. So moving into the hollow, you want your ribs tucked down. So what I mean by ribs tucked down is this is your ribs flared or open. You want them tucked down. A good way to think about this is getting your bottom rib down to your hips. So you want your ribs tucked down, and then consequently your hips will also tuck under. So ribs tucked under, this is ribs tucked out, ribs tucked under. Good way to do this is really squeeze your glutes. If you squeeze your glutes, naturally hips will roll under. This is how most people think or perceive engaging their core. So you think the hollow, someone says engage your core, most of the time it's that position, that hollow position. Just some key coaching points moving forward. So in our hollow, when we are doing it on the ground, you really want to think about shoulders rounded forward. You want that nice dish shape. A good cue is if you're lying on the ground and you're doing arch hold. So if you get your hand in that small of your back, in that lower part of your back, it means you're not properly in an arch position. So you're going to be thinking about, imagine there's a string from your belly button coming out to your back. You want that string being pulled into the ground. So moving on to the arch. So you want to think about lifting your shoulders when you're on the ground and your quads off the ground, pushing your hips into the ground, or your belly button. It's a good way to think about it. When you're on the bar, a lot of people just think about that cue, hips forward. It's not just your hips forward. You need to think about shoulders and your knees backwards. That is a better way to think about it rather than just throwing your hips forward. All these scaling options for both hollow and your arch, ideally you want your arms up by your ears. If you can't, either arms out to the side, or if you need to, hands by your hips. Either way, it's still going to train those correct positions that you need to know and need to master, so that when you get onto the bar, you know what these shapes feel like. These all translate into your pull-ups, into your toes to bar, into your bar muscle ups, your ring muscle ups. All of those movements require being a master at these two shapes. Well, good luck, and I'll hope to see you guys next week.